Oh, no.
So guys, the clip you just watched then was Jim Monro, otherwise known as Jimbo, flying through the air at the Hardline course in Wales. Now, I'm seeing a lot of comments, I'm seeing a lot of stuff, a lot of hate towards this contraption, this jump, this gap. And actually, before we even get into all that, it's funny because the reason they have built this is to create hype. It's to create people talking. It's to build up the event. It's to make Hardline look gnarlier than all these other events. It's to make it its own thing. And that's what it's doing. This video right now is being made to talk about how sketchy and how gnarly and all the things that they wanted to create out of building the thing that is now happening. So it's worked. It has worked. This is marketing working. This is building sketchy stuff for a sketchy, I'm not going to say a sketchy event, but sketchy stuff for a gnarly event. And it actually working because it's getting the clicks, it's getting the engagement, and it's getting the hate. And as we know, hate drives content better than love and all the other stuff and positive reinforcements. Negative comments boost engagement on posts. So this thing is getting a lot of hate, so it's boosting a lot of engagement, and that's what they're trying to do at RedBull Hardline. They're trying to make it the biggest, I guess, spectacle event for mountain biking. Obviously, with them not sponsoring the World Cups anymore, I think they are trying to put maybe more effort into the Hardline series. But at what cost? At what cost are we going to throw riders off things like this, over gaps that don't have nets, over canyons where they could literally fall to their death? Like, looking at that clip there of Jimbo crashing, he compressed off the lip. So first of all, I don't believe there's enough curvature in the lip. You see them bottom out and then bottom out again. He compressed his suspension and obviously got spat out the front. Hard hit. He said he's walked away with just a concussion. Don't know how bad that is. He's obviously a lot better than I think a lot of people would have thought by looking at that. And it could have gone a hell of a lot worse if he got kicked and didn't make the down ramp, which could, don't even want to go into that, but it's just looking at it as like, what's the limit to this? And are we just making this now to one up ourselves or themselves in that, with the Hardline or with the Rampage or whatever it may be? Because I think it's gone too far. I really think it's gone too far with this. I think maybe going off what we saw in Tasmania, where they had a bit of a gap down the bottom over a bit of a canyon, Wales said, okay, we're going to go bigger and better and kind of create this wow factor to make people come in and drawn in, because I think not just with downhill, but a lot of things in general is like you need that wow factor, that like grabbing thing. And I think once you run an event where you're doing 115-foot gaps and then that becomes the norm, it's like, where's the next progression to make the sport more appealing to, I guess, bring more fans in and then kind of wow the people that are already obviously involved in the sport. But I truly believe this has gone too far. I don't think it looks safe. I think you can obviously see by Jim's crash that it can go very wrong very quickly. And when it does, it can be very bad. So I think either they need to change and modify the curvature of the takeoff to have it as a more smoother curve instead of those harsh hits where you can G out. Because these guys are like guinea pigging at it as well. Like Bernard Kerr's done it. Matt Jones did it. And you can see they both got fairly kicked off the lip. And now I know Matt runs his bike super stiff. I'm not sure what Bernard was running. He got kicked and kind of like penciled as well. So both of them were pretty sketchy. I know Bernard is a damn good bike rider and good at jumping. So to see him get so nose heavy and penciled out on a jump like that, it's like, if he's one of the best guys in the world at jumping and that's what's happening, I couldn't even imagine being another one of these guys lining up to race it. And also, I think with this stuff, you look at someone like Ronan Dunn, who shows up to this event every year, now coming off a World Cup win, and seeing something like that, I just wonder how much his team's in his ear saying, hey, they've gone a bit far. This is too sketchy. We want you in the overall hunt. We want you to keep getting us World Cup wins. We don't want you to go to this event. And that's just one rider out of a whole stack of riders. So I'm not saying that's what's happening, but the way it's going, I can imagine that teams may come in and kind of persuade their riders not to go and compete at these hardline events. Like you look at Loic was supposed to come to Tasmania for the Red Bull event there, and apparently rumour is his team said, no, we don't want you going down there. We don't want you to injure yourself before the World Cup start. That's our focus. That's why we pay you. That's where we put the energy into. So just, don't go do that. Now, I'm feeling that could be the case here in Wales if this is the features that they're getting thrown down. And yeah, it's just, is that going to be the deciding factor whether they take it out or not? Because they put so much work and so much effort into this thing. It's one of those things where like you go so far, you've altered the track, you've altered where it goes now, you've already put hype around it. Do you feel like you just have to leave it in now? Is that where you're at in your head, that it's like, okay, well, it's here now. We've put all this effort, this work. People have gotten over it. It is doable. So do we just keep it then? Do we just keep it and this is it? So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this one. I've been told they're trying to put a net underneath it to catch people, but it gets, it's just, even if you come up short on the wood, it's just metal poles and wood, and it's just nasty. It's not it for me. I think that downhill is about trying to use the environment or the terrain there, and putting scaffolding and wood on it, it just kind of takes away from what it's supposed to be. And it just looks ugly. It looks so ugly. Like the rest of the hill looks immaculate and nice, and even the jumps and stuff they build, it blends in with the dirt. And then you got this huge scaffolding thing with just wood in the middle of the mountain, and it's just it's not it. It's not it for me. And yeah, I think seeing after Jim's crash, I think a lot of people have kind of realised that this is probably not it either. So it'll be interesting to see whether they do keep this in for the race, and if they don't, what they're going to do, whether they go back to the old track. I think they're going to keep it in. I think they're going to keep it in. Hopefully they can alter it to make it a bit safer. It's going to be interesting to see if they don't and what's going to come out of it. But it's one of those things that it's not even like you're excited to watch. It's almost like you're anxious to watch because of the risk that comes along with it. Now, I haven't talked to any of the riders that are competing, but it would be interesting to actually just chat to a few of them and see how they feel. But I can't imagine that many guys would be stoked after seeing that crash about going to suit up and go throw themselves down. So yeah, very interesting one. It's interesting to see, obviously, Dan and G, the ones building these things, and I know they like to push the progression of the sport, but again, it just comes back at like what cost. And you've seen where G's obviously try to push himself to the very limit, how that can backfire and how that can cause severe injuries. So it's like, at what point do you go, okay, maybe we have gone too far. Maybe this is too much. Maybe we are flirting with something we don't want to flirt with, and maybe we can like tone it back and add other elements that are still very gnarly, but also safer at the same time. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see where they go with this, but I thought I'd just do a little video because of, I guess, the hype around what it has become. And yeah, it's, again, not it for me. So I say burn the bridge. I reckon they should just maybe use that for the after party, put some fuel on it, light it up, get Evel Knievel to fly off it with his wheels on fire. But besides that, I think you can find a different way down the hill. That's just my opinion. Not saying it's right or wrong, but when I see a feature that scares me for my friends, not even me doing it, but just the people I know and care about, to literally risk their life on something, I think that's where I just go, nah, this is too much. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. But let me know what you guys think they should do or shouldn't do, or what you would have built, or what you reckon about the whole situation. I'm super interested to hear, because yeah, the comment section is always interesting of this stuff, because I think it is some people are going to say that's what mountain biking needs. It needs to be gnarly. If you don't want to do downhill, don't do downhill, blah, blah, blah. And other people are going to go, no, it's too much. It's too big. It's too sketchy. It's too unsafe. It needs to be changed, whatever that may be. So let me know. I read all the comments. So interesting to see what you guys think. See you now.